My name is Callan Moody. I'm an Assistant Director of Alumni Affairs at Berklee. Thank you all for joining us tonight for the Spring Songwriting Masterclass with Pat Pattison. Pat, thank you so much for kind of hosting us all tonight. I hope you're doing well. How are things going at Berklee? How is teaching for the hybrid semester?
Well, it wasn't hybrid for me, that's for sure. I've been sitting in this chair, commuting from my bed to my desk. So it's the easiest commute I've ever had. So that's good. I'm right now looking at 3 wood ducks going across the pond, and you can probably hear the wind chimes. Well, probably. Yeah, okay, so the wind stopped. Fine. What can I say? The wind chimes will be going on. But teaching at Berklee has been actually fairly smooth. But then again, you know, I do words mostly. I don't have to worry about latency with instruments. I don't have to worry about any of the things that the ensemble teachers or the production teachers or the MP&E teachers have to deal with. But you know, I think that pretty much we've stepped up pretty well for the whole thing, and I'm really pleased about that. My arm is no longer sore. It was sore for a couple of days after I got my 2nd vaccination. So I'm feeling, when I got it, I said, I'm not gonna die. And then I remembered that it was not of COVID. Anyway, this first 45 minutes will be pretty much a free-for-all. Callan is going to be monitoring the chat. So if you have some questions that you think I could possibly answer, please feel free to ask them. If I don't know the answers, I'm always happy to make something up. I've been doing that for a very long time, and so far it's working out all right.
Awesome. So we've already had a couple come in, and I have seen your comments. I'll repost the doc as well for anybody that's having issues finding it. So thank you for that. So the first question we have is from, I apologize profusely in advance if I mispronounce anybody's name, Frederick DeAngelis. Do you want to unmute yourself?
Very good pronunciation.
Oh, thank you. I'll hand it over to you.
Hey,
so Pat, we might be getting ahead of ourselves here, but I'm just, you know, I'm struggling with getting my songs in front of people that might want to record them or might want to license them or use them in some other way that could possibly generate some revenue for me. And I'm wondering if you had any tips on that.
I have the answer. No. You know,
thank you.
No problem. It's an interesting challenge, of course. I think everybody here has some backlog of songs that if only the right person heard them, they would be hits. And how do I get those in front of people? And that's the perennial question. You know, there are at this point some companies that will aid, particularly in getting placements for film and television. One of those is Taxi, TAXI, which I've been in touch with and working for, going to their road rallies every year in LA for probably the last 25 years. They're a legit company. When an A&R person or an artist or a manager gets a note from Taxi, a forward from Taxi, they'll listen to it, and all that will do is put you in the game. You'll at least have somebody in the game listening to your song. Taxi costs something to join. They send out a tip sheet every week. And if you have something that is well recorded and fits the criteria of the tip sheet, send it along. The worst that will happen is that you will get a short critique back from the folks who listened to it, and let you know what might improve, or they'll let you know that they forwarded it to so and so. So there's Taxi, which is I think a useful and I think and legit company that can work for you. Other than that, there's the list of the music supervisors in LA that work with TV and film, and there are many companies out in LA that will have catalogs and are constantly pitching to film and TV. Other than that, I really don't know. Well, we do have in the mix tonight some good friends, and hello folks that I have been in contact with, former students and so on. We also have a major league hit songwriter with us tonight, and if I recall seeing his feed on Facebook, he's just been getting some more cuts. Joe, I wonder, this is Joe Doyle. Joe, I wonder if you could elaborate or contradict what I've had to say.
I wouldn't dare contradict you, sir. You were a kind and insightful professor to me 30 some odd years ago. That's an interesting question. I actually am teaching a class, have been for 20 years at TSU. And I had a couple of old friends of mine. One was a past Berklee alum, and another started a company for film and television that BMG ended up buying. And so I had them speak to my students via Zoom just the other day. And to me, that is where the money is these days. I mean, it's so hard to get your songs on terrestrial radio. And as we know, streaming royalties are not paying much at all. So I would, if I was an aspiring songwriter, I would try to chase that film and TV placement. And like you, I don't know how to do it anymore either. It's just by happenstance how songs find their way to artists, through the strangest ways.
Thank you, Joe. Thank you, Frederick. Up next is Christina Olson.
Hello. I'm just wondering, I love gathering people's tips on how to separate the creator and the editor in writing. And I wondered if you had some ideas on that.
Well, okay, I'm good. This may be the most important thing I'm going to say all night. And so if you're sleepy or you're hungry, this is going to be as good as it gets. So just letting you know. So here's how to separate your creator and your critic. Christina, would you sit up reverently as though you were in church? Christina, just sort of religious. Yeah, that's better. That's much better. All right, everybody. Catherine, none of this. So it's got to be reverent. All right. So I guess, all right, everybody looks fine. I hereby grant you permission to write crap, because crap is the best fertilizer, and the more crap you write, the more likely it is you'll grow something wonderful. So just let your critic know that you're doing your job, that since 90% of everything you write is not your best 10%, you are busy filling your 90%. Oh, critic, I'll let you know when I think I have a 10%er, and then we'll have a good time. Other than that, just let it go. You know, I don't think any of us are really afraid that we're terrible. But I know that all of us are afraid that we're not good enough. That we are terrified of our own essential mediocrity that we know we are. And so it takes it takes some doing. It takes some hard work. It takes some focus to do your very best. And so most of the stuff you're going to write is going to be in your 90%. But I love the fact that it's true of everybody that 90% of everything anybody, including Shakespeare, wrote is not the best 10%. So it's that 10% that is a result of filling the 90%. The more 90% you have, the better your 10% is. So just relax. You know, if line 2 of verse 2 sucks, it's not like you're going to forget that it sucks. Keep writing, keep going, because somewhere maybe in line 2 of the bridge, you'll decide, oh my God, that's what I'm really writing about. And if you had spent 2 hours on line 2 of verse 2, you're going to try to find a way to save it, whether it belongs in the song or not. So just let the things come out, finish the song. There are some things that you really need to look at before you start looking at whether the lines are perfect. The very last thing that I care about when I'm writing a song is that I have great words. It's the very last thing I care about. I care deeply about it, but it's the last thing I care about. I care about the big things first. Who's talking, to whom, and why? Who's talking, to whom, and why? Huge. That's point of view. What is the I will call it title or hook or main idea, the centerpiece of the song? What is that going to be? And then how do I take that and make it mean even more the second time and the third time? How's that working out? Are my structures, my number of lines, length of lines, rhythm of lines, rhyme scheme, rhyme types, harmony, harmonic rhythm, melodic rhythm, how are those things contributing to the feeling of the idea? And so we go through all of that stuff. What's your rhyme scheme doing? You know, what's your song about? How does it feel? What's your song about? Is it, I'm so grateful that you're here. So it feels like, that's how I want it to feel. Well, then you have some responsibilities. For example, if you write your verse in an odd number of lines, it will feel odd. It will feel unresolved. It will feel incomplete. It will feel unstable. So that if I'm really grateful that you're here, I'm going to use all the tools that I have at my disposal and make the motion reflect the emotion that I'm dealing with. So that motion, how you make something move, always creates all by itself an emotion. If on the other hand, I'm so sorry that I won't see you tomorrow. So sorry. I'm so sorry it didn't work out between us. Now something's missing. And so now that 3-line verse may be in play, or an ABBA rhyme scheme rather than an AABB rhyme scheme may be in play. So you're always looking for the elements of the tools that you have in your tool belt to support whatever it is that that you are that you're trying to say. And then finally, have I got exactly the right words? Are my verbs strong enough? What is my melodic rhythm and my lyric rhythm matching up perfectly so that I lose nothing because of a missetting? So there's all of those things that come along. But the first thing is just to see how the whole thing is going. Start big, and then move into smaller.
Beautifully said. Thank you so much.
Oh, well, thank you. Thank you.
Nathan, if you're up for your next question.
Thank you. Pat, very inspiring words. Thank you very much.
Is it Nathan?
It's Natan.
Nathan.
That's correct.
Nathan, before we get to your song, I want to say to you, don't introduce your song. Don't say anything, just play your song.
Sounds great.
Okay.
Can do. Wait, am I playing the song or am I asking a question?
You're asking a question.
Okay, great. Something I struggle with a lot is rhyme scheme, mostly understanding when to use it and when not to use it. I kind of find that when I purposefully don't use rhyme, I'm able to write a lot more freely. But once I've cornered myself into a rhyme scheme situation, I find that suddenly I'm sort of cherry picking words that may or may not be actually the best fit. I just wonder if you have any kind of thoughts about that sort of backwards design of like, I need a rhyme word here. What do I put in? How do you avoid that situation?
I have a great deal to say about that, Nathan.
That's why I'm here. That's
number one. You're a guitar player, right?
That's correct. Wait, I guess, okay. I was going to ask how you knew.
That's all right. I would say if you, the next time you decide to play a gig or play out with your guitar, I would like to encourage you to tape these three fingers together on your left hand, assuming you're right-handed, to tape these three fingers together, and then go ahead and play your guitar. Now that may interfere a bit with your fingering on the fretboard, but just go ahead and do that, and then you'll get the feeling of what it's like if you decide not to rhyme, because deciding not to rhyme now removes completely an entire motion creator and therefore emotion creator in your song. For example, going back to Christina's question, if I'm saying to you, that's the greatest question I've ever heard, and that's my song, that's the greatest thing I've ever heard, I'm probably going to want my rhyme scheme to feel like yes, to feel like AABB, or to feel like ABAB, to feel like something that's really solid, really makes me feel like, yeah, I'm done. So the rhyme scheme can do that. If you failed to rhyme those lines, then you are not allowing that feeling of, bam, I'm done. You're now making your melody and your harmony and your line lengths do all that work when your rhyme scheme could actually just nail it. And so for me, not rhyming isn't an option, which means that you need to become a better rhymer. You need to become a better rhymer, which means that you need to get information. You need to understand the rhyme types. Perfect rhyme, of course, blood, mud. Family rhyme, which works with the final consonants. So blood, cup, blood, cup. They're both plosives at the end. So, and since there are 6 plosives, every time the consonant at the end of your word ends in a plosive, you can go 5 different places in your, here's a word for you, in your rhyming dictionary, and whether your rhyming dictionary is something like Rhyme Zone or Master Writer or Clement Wood's Complete Rhyming Dictionary paperback, whatever it is, man, if you don't own a rhyming dictionary, it's like playing everything that you have on your guitar through a Silvertone amp with no pedals. Just go in direct. So you need a rhyming dictionary. It ain't cheating. It shows you what your options are. And so learn your rhyme types: perfect rhyme, family rhyme, additive and subtractive rhyme, assonance rhyme, consonance rhyme. Those are your 5 rhyme types, moving from the most resolved to the least resolved, so that rhymes are actually like chords. Rhymes are like chords. That you can really resolve them with perfect rhyme, or you can leave them hanging a little bit with assonance rhyme or consonance rhyme. And those things allow you to, rhyme types allow you to work through 2 verses, one of which feels really stable and the other one which feels a little unstable. Your rhyme types are the key to making the second one feel less stable by using rhyme types. This may seem a little self-serving, but I would really encourage you to buy The Essential Guide to Rhyming. The Essential Guide to Rhyming by Pat Pattison. And he's really good, really. He just really nails it in there. The last chapter of it talks about how to use your rhyme types to create stability and instability, and talks about the use of rhyme to create emotion. And it will also teach you how to make a worksheet. I've had for the last several years, I've had my students at Berklee do a full worksheet for every song they write. And in my, for example, Lyric Writing 2 class, they write a song a week. And so they have to do an entire worksheet. That is, they look up their rhymes before they start writing their song. They use the rhyming, they use the worksheet, the rhyming dictionary, as a brainstorming device, and create these wonderful worksheets that give you all of that stuff in front of you. And they think it's cheating. They think that if you do a worksheet, it shouldn't be that easy to write the song afterwards. But for me, the worksheet is pulling back the bowstring and then releasing, and the song just, in some cases, song just falls out because you are so stimulated and know what your options are so clearly that the rhymes are so easy to come by. So that becoming a better rhymer, both in terms of your rhyme types and in terms of how your rhyme schemes work. Rhyme schemes also are either stable or unstable. There's a good deal on the stability of rhyme schemes in this amazing book, which you can have with a set of ginseng knives. And wait, there's more. There's a chapter in here called Understanding Motion, which talks about the various stability and instability in terms of number of lines, length of lines, and rhyme schemes. And it runs on for about 40 pages. It's a really, I think, useful reference chapter in the book. So get busy. What you're lacking more than anything else is information. I know you're not lacking ability. but you're lacking information, go get it. Easiest thing to do in the world is to get information.
Thank you, Pat.
Yep, pleasure.
Thank you. Up next is Whitney Marshall. I have some questions about pre-chorus writing.
Pat, it's such an honor to meet you. I'm sure I'm going to be taking some of your classes in the future, in the summer. I've been taking from Neil Derrick,
Oh,
which has been great.
Don't bother taking anything from me. Neil,
My question is, we talk about pre-choruses, and I don't hear of pre-choruses in jazz. And I know, pre-choruses is the I wish, I wonder, I know all that stuff. And they usually don't start on the one chord and they kind of end on the five, if I remember my classes right. Not always. Yeah. Those are just some tools. So how do you incorporate a pre-chorus in today's jazz music? Because a chorus, a pre-chorus to me is so much like the bridge that in jazz you'll hear bridges, but I don't know any jazz tunes that have a pre-chorus.
Yeah, I don't either, and there's a pretty good reason for that. Pre-chorus, the concept of pre-chorus comes primarily from dance music. You've got this great groove. And you're, I've got this groove, come into the studio, listen to this groove. Oh man, I can't stop moving. Oh, that's great. So where do we put that groove? Well, in the intro. Obviously, we put it in the intro. And then people will be flooding out to the dance floor already. And then here comes the verse. What do we do in the verse? We keep the groove. We may not orchestrate it as much, but the groove is still there. People are dancing really hard to the groove. And then here comes the chorus. What do we do there? Well, we keep the groove going. Okay, so if you keep the groove going the whole time, there's no contrast. There's no tension to be released. And so the dance writer said, what if we abandon the groove for maybe 4 bars? Or 6 bars or something, and the dancers are out there going crazy, and then suddenly there's this and then they go back to the chorus and dance even harder. So it's it comes from dance music, and therefore into rock and roll, into pop music, and so on. But jazz doesn't really do that. Now, it may be that Kurt Elling or some of those folks are playing around with pre-choruses. I would not at all be surprised. But basically, it's a pop, dance, R&B kind of any music that has as one of its primary jobs to make you move your body. Pre-chorus is delicious for those. You'll probably notice that folk music doesn't have many pre-choruses. Mm-hmm. Because the purpose of folk music is not essentially to make you move your body.
Even in a swing, a bebop or a swing song, which you could still establish that you wouldn't want a pre-chorus either, right? That's what you're saying, pretty much.
You might. But I love the fact that you identified the pre-chorus as almost a bridge. In my book, The Essential Guide to Lyric Form and Structure, which, as the title indicates, is an essential book, I call the pre-chorus a transitional bridge.
Exactly.
A transitional bridge. And for me, the difference between pre-chorus or transitional bridge and what I call primary bridge is that the primary bridge typically goes between choruses, and that the pre-chorus or transitional bridge goes between verse and chorus, so that it interrupts that motion. By the way, typically a pre-chorus should be unstable.
Okay.
That is, it's a bridge.
Right.
And you don't. Its job is to take you from one place to another, and because that's its job, you should never build a house on a bridge. Because if you build a house on a bridge, you'll get up in the morning, you'll get your coffee, walk out the door, and get hit by a truck. So you never want to put something that's solid. The pre-chorus should never be solid. So I mean, never tell a structural engineer that all bridges should be unstable. But for songwriters, they should. The bridge should move you from one place to another, whether it's from between chorus and chorus or between verse and chorus.
And with top line writing, it's to my understanding, it's putting melody over established beats already. But you can do that in jazz, if I guess, not really, but.
I suppose so. That's what sax players have done forever.
Okay. Well, thank you very much.
Pleasure.
So I think we have time probably for one more question. And that, I just had to pull up. Alejandra Jimenez about projective
repetition. Yes. So hi, Pat. I have a question about, in your book, you talk about productive repetition and how to develop the song in boxes, right? Though I understand this concept, I still struggle a lot to making each one of my boxes heavier, like as time progresses. What are different routes besides perspective, like past, present, future, and time and perspective to develop a song story?
The basic tool that you have for making your idea move forward is to have an idea that can move forward.
That's good.
I'm quite serious about that too. For me, and certainly Joe and many of you, the title or the main idea, the central idea, that's the thing. When three writers in Nashville sit down for a writing session, they sit down at 10 o'clock in the morning. And of course, the rule in Nashville is that the first 15 minutes of the session, you have to bitch about the music industry. But after you're finished bitching about the music industry at 10:15, that's the pivot. And at the pivot, the question comes, what have you got? And at that point, well, at least in the old days, everybody would reach in their back pocket and pull out their hook book, which was just a whole series of titles. And they would toss titles out to each other. And the question would be, where do you think that should go? Where do you think that should go? So here's a title. Well, in the first verse we could, and then in the second verse maybe we'd, and then in the bridge maybe we could, and that would make the thing grow. So that it's the title, the main idea itself, that's going to generate the motion. And so you might take a look at the chapter in Writing Better Lyrics called "Stripping Your Repetition for Repainting." Stripping your repetition for repainting. That talks about what you can do to a title to make it more flexible, to make it able to move more. So, for example, if I say, "I used to love you," I used to love you. That could be a title, but it's in my metaphor polyurethaned in two ways. If I'm going to repeat that 3 times, all 3 times, it's got to be me talking to you. all three times, it's got to be approached in past tense. And so I would, and it could be that a title like "I Used to Love You" could be wonderful, and you could move it very well. But I just want you to put that little blinking LED in your head that that says, okay, what am I committing to? Am I committing to point of view in this or not? Am I committing to tense in this? Easy loving, totally neutral. I always wanted easy loving. Hey, you also want easy loving. I guess we will forever be enchanted by easy loving. So I've changed point of view, I've changed tense, all of that stuff, because easy loving has no verb. The loving, it's an adjective and a noun, or it could be loving easy, where loving is the verb, but the ing form of the verb is tense neutral. Being able to develop your idea to keep it moving forward really has mostly to do with the quality of the title that you pick.
Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, it's never going to be easy. I mean, sometimes easier than others. I would say, however, if it seems really easy, it probably is too easy, and it's probably been written many times before. But there's some great examples of making your ideas move. I've quoted some of them: the Strawberry Wine and Child Again, the Beth Nielsen Chapman song. Joe's written a bunch of them. So yeah.
Thanks. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Alejandra. So I think we're now ready to move into the second portion of the evening. Pat, you want to take it away?
Sure. Make sure I've got it right again. It's Natan.
That is correct.
Okay, cool. All right. Well, first of all, just thanks to everybody who submitted. I think it speaks very, very well of y'all to put yourself on the line like that. I picked songs for tonight based on what I call teachable moments. Songs that are good songs, but have things in them that may make them able to be even a better song. And I do have to say that most of the songs, I think all of the songs that were submitted could have been on the queue tonight, but there were a lot of them, and I picked 4. And we may get to 4, we may not get to 4. Natan is going to play live, and then we'll start talking about what just happened. Okay, Natan, go ahead.
All right. Well, as requested, I'm just gonna play the song. Can you see me okay? Or am I good to go?
You're good to go.
All right. And if I start glitching or Wi-Fi becomes awful, I can move a little closer to the router or something in another room. So let me know if that happens.
Okay.
Lock me out or let me in, sedated and lonesome yet again. Cannabis or alcohol, heroin or Tylenol, sleep for once, sleep for once, sleep for once. Stale whiskey in a jar, paying your rent in caviar. tell a lie to circumvent, bitch about the government. Check yourself, check yourself, check yourself. That's right. Please don't make me cry again, at least for now. Come on up from underwater. Just don't take another one. Enough for now. Wouldn't want you under whatever you've been under. Think another happy thought, watching your blood boil in a pot. Covering, congratulate, simmer and coagulate in a spoon, in a spoon, in a spoon. Find the reason for your highs. Are they to drown or oxidize? Wanna see a miracle? Nothing is impossible. Ask for help, ask for help, ask for help. And I tried. Oh, please don't make me cry again. At least for now. Come on up from underwater. Just don't take another one. Enough for now. Wouldn't want you under whatever you've been under. All still and talking bathrooms. If I could have one more day with what you used to be, while you're always running faster, take some time to breathe. Helplessness is temporary. Please don't make me cry again. At least for now. Come on up from underwater. Just don't take another one. Enough for now. Wouldn't want you under whatever you've been under. Thanks for letting me play that.
That's really good. You've got wonderful language in here, and you're really not having any rhyming trouble, Natan. I love alcohol, Tylenol, circumvent, government, congratulate, coagulate.
That's my favorite line in the song. That one in particular, I was proud of that one line.
Yeah.
I would like to actually acknowledge there are about 2 lines in this song that were not written by me, that I had a close friend at Berklee, actually, who this kind of experience that the song was about. I was going.
Stop right there. You, I don't want you to give anything away.
Okay, great.
Okay. What I want to do is just describe what I went through when I was listening to this song, and I think it may be something that other folks here experienced. Okay, there's some really interesting language here, but lock me out or lock me in, sedated and lonesome yet again. I thought, oh, okay, so the narrator is sedated and lonesome. Cannabis or alcohol, heroin or Tylenol, sleep for once. I heard I got to sleep for once, sleep for once, sleep for once. Stale whiskey in a jar, paying one's rent with caviar. Tell a lie. It felt to me like I think, I didn't know for sure, but I thought that maybe this was the narrator having some real issues and being really drug-induced and having a real problem in the narrator's life. So that when we got to "and I tried," okay, all right, please don't make me cry again. Wait a minute. Who's going to make him cry? Come on up from underwater. Wouldn't want you under whatever you've been under. I had no idea what to do with that chorus because it wasn't clear to me what the point of view here is. It felt to me all the way up to "and I tried," and even through part of the chorus, it felt to me like, is this the narrator talking to, in this case, to himself? Is this the narrator talking to himself? And who's the you here? And there's all this command stuff here. I don't know what's going on. That is to say, the three basic questions that every song you write should try to answer as clearly as possible. Number one, who is talking? Number two, to whom? And number three, why? And that was unclear to me. Who's talking, to whom, and why? As the song went along, I got a little bit more, oh, okay, I guess the narrator is talking to someone else. Oh, wait, is the someone else the one who's sedated? I don't know. Is this the you actually that we hear about later? I don't know. So it was for me very confusing. And so even if I figured out that the I is talking to a you somewhere around here, it didn't help me at all up here. So for me, that fundamental question, who's talking, to whom, and why, was unclear to me. And as much as I liked the language of the song and liked the contrast between verse and chorus, liked the bridge, liked all of it, I really didn't know what was going on. So I would like for you to play it again from the top until I tell you to stop. And I would like you just to add one word to the song.
Okay. Will do. Thank you very much, by the way. All very helpful. And everything you've said really tracks. It really makes a lot of sense.
Give that a shot.
Can I have a moment to figure out how I'm going to give that a shot?
Yeah, you're going to give it a shot by hey baby, lock me in.
Okay, fine. Baby, lock me out and let me in the sedated lonesome yet again.
Hang on. I'm going to add another word. Okay, from the top.
Baby, lock me out or let me in. You're sedated and lonesome yet again. Cannabis or alcohol, heroin or Thailand, I'll sleep for once, sleep for once, sleep for once. Stale whiskey in a jar, paying your rent in caviar. Tell a lie to circumvent, bitch about the government. Check yourself, check yourself, check yourself. And I tried. Please don't make me cry again. At least for now. Come on up from underwater. Just don't take another one. Enough for now. Wouldn't want you under whatever you've been under. watching your blood boil in a pot. Cover and congratulate, cover and coagulate in the spoon.
That's good. Did that clear anything up for anybody? I have a very dear friend in Nashville by the name of John Bettis. He wrote Human Nature for Michael Jackson. He wrote Slow Hand, and we had a conversation about Baby. And he said, what other word, what other two syllables gives you both a point of view and a relationship at the same time? So that the minute Natan said baby at the beginning of the song, it established the point of view. It is I talking to you, whom I love. And so that already made the please don't make me cry again just really pop. I don't know if I want to proselytize and say baby would be useful in most songs. I responded to John Bettis, by the way, well, Honey does that. So does Darling. But he said, yeah, but Baby is so fast and it's got those two plosives. I said, fine, Baby it is. So suddenly the song just totally opens up. So that if you have that question in mind, those three questions, who's talking, to whom, and why, if you have those in mind, then you can ask yourself the question right at the beginning of the song, do I know who's talking? Do I know who the narrator is talking to? And do I know why? And certainly the why becomes really clear here. I don't want you to take any more drugs. I want you because I love you. So stop it. So that for me is the big part of it. I mean, suddenly the song it's transparent, and then I can dig into and appreciate the writing and the ideas, and I feel I feel with the narrator. Please don't make me cry again. So that's the first thing that came up for me. Who's talking to whom and why? And in the article that I posted, polishing the silver bowl, it talks about those things. It talks about what to look at first. Certainly in listening to a song, but particularly writing a song. And my mantra here is to establish your point of view at your earliest possible convenience. Establish your point of view at your earliest possible convenience. And you only get 4 points of view for the rest of your life. That's it. Only 4. Third person narrative, he loves her, yet she, oh, you can hear the wind chimes now, can't you? And there's a squirrel crawling up to the bird feeder. Oh, I'm sorry. So you get, he loves her, yet she rejects him. I love her, yet she rejects me. You love her, yet she rejects you. There's no I in there. That's called second person narrative. And finally, I love you, yet you reject me. Third person narrative, first person narrative, second person narrative, and direct address. So, Nate, we have a little bit more on Natan. we have a little bit more work to do here.
I'm ready for it. Thank you.
All right, complete with Baby. Would you start from the top again?
Yeah. Baby, lock me on, let me in. You're sedated and lonesome yet again, I think.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I guess I'll just watch the screen for something like this. I wasn't sure when to stop last time.
Okay.
All right.
I'll just yell.
Okay.
Well, I'll tell you where to stop. I want you to stop after "And I Tried."
After the so okay, all right, before the second chorus.
Yep.
All right. Baby, lock me out or let me in, sedated and lonesome yet again. Cannabis or alcohol, heroin or Tylenol, sleep for one, sleep for... I forgot that you're sedated, sorry. Baby, lock me out or let me in, you're sedated and lonesome yet again. Cannabis or alcohol, heroin or Tylenol, sleep for one, sleep for one, sleep for once. Stale whiskey in a jar, paying your rent in caviar. Tell a lie to circumvent, bitch about the government. Check yourself, check yourself, check yourself. And I tried. Please don't make me cry again. At least for now, come on up from underwater. Just don't take another one. Enough for now. Wouldn't want you under whatever you've been under. Think another happy thought, watching your blood boil in a pot. Simmering, congratulate, covering, coagulating, a spoon in, a spoon in, a spoon. Find the reason for your highs. Are they to drown or oxidize? Want to see a miracle? Nothing is impossible. Ask for help, ask for help, ask for help. Then I tried.
I would like to say that right here,
I stumbled a little bit.
no, right there, the song felt too long. Right there, the song felt too long. There is a reason why almost every song that you love that starts with 2 verses before the chorus only has 1 verse before the second chorus. That's because the 4th verse is a balancing position. It stops motion before you get to the chorus, so that the chorus almost feels like an afterthought rather than the target that you're shooting for. So that that verse, chorus, verse, chorus, I call it a weak form. I actually call it in writing better lyrics, I call it an impotent form. I put the I am in parentheses because I thought that was really funny. I come to discover that it's not that funny really, but it's still there. So verse chorus is a weak form because it stops motion here, so that your choice is whether you have a number of choices here. The first and easiest choice is to dump one of the verses. And since you love this line so much, we'll dump that verse. Because this seems to make the boxes bigger. Find a reason for your highs, which is different than think another happy thought. But you know, there's the other possibility, which could be you know what I call this: put these 8 lines in the steel cage and make them fight to the death until only 4 crawl out throbbing and bleeding. So there is that possibility. The other possibility, which is going to be more difficult here, is to create, instead of 2 4-line sections, to create 1 8-line section. Let me. One of my old co-writers, Jim Rushing was his name, wrote a song called "Slow Healing Heart." The first verse of which goes, "When I left walking wounded, made my escape in the rain. Still a prisoner of hurt, I had months worth of work, freeing my mind of the pain." Let me do that again. When I left walking wounded, made my escape in the rain. Still a prisoner of hurt, I had months worth of work, freeing my mind of the pain. Now the next 4 lines could easily have been ba-da-da-dee-da-da-da-da, ba-da-da-dee-da-da-da, ba-da-da-dee-da-da, ba-da-da-dee-da-da, ba-da-da-dee-da-da-da, and we would have had twins. And that's what you did. You have twins there. That's fine. But what he did instead to create an 8-line section was, when I left walking wounded, made my escape in the rain. Still a prisoner of hurt, I had months worth of work, freeing my mind of the pain. I had hours of sitting alone in the dark, listening to sad songs and falling apart. Lord knows I made crying an art, weak as a slow healing heart. So what he basically did was he put "Mary Had a Little Lamb" on top of "Eeny, Meeny, Miny, Mo." And you can't write the same music for the last 4 lines as you did for the first 4 lines. So the result is that you get an 8-line sequence. Another possibility, this from David Wilcox, night is warm, cops are gone. Da-da-dee-da-da-da-ba, rocket bike is sleeping along. Yeah. Night is warm. Got it. Night is warm. The cops are gone. Rocket bike is sleeking along. It's called a hurricane. She told me once it's quite a ride. It's shaped so there's this place inside where if you're moving, you can hide safe within the rain. So 3 rhymed lines and an unrhymed short line, 3 more rhymed lines and an unrhymed short line creates an 8-line sequence. So that's certainly an option if you really, really, really want all 8 of these lines or all of those ideas, then you construct it in rhyme, 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 short line, rhyme, 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 short line that rhymes with this short line. Then you've got an 8-line sequence. So, you know, the easy thing here is either the steel cage or just to pick one and dump it. But what that does is that serves your chorus. It will serve your chorus. That will serve your chorus, because now we go verse, verse, chorus, verse, chorus, and the chorus gets a bump. Okay, play a bridge.
Right now?
Okay. Wait about 3 seconds. 1, 2, 3. Okay, now.
Can I take it back like to the very end of the chorus?
Sure.
Great. For now, wouldn't want you under whatever you get under. Often that's talking about
Now, I don't know if I could really build a house on that bridge, but I could certainly I could certainly build a credible shack on that bridge.
I don't know if that's a good thing or not.
Well, you know, it just depends on what you think about living in a shack on a bridge. I want you now. This is going to be a little bit more challenging for you, but I want you to somehow figure out how to do this.
Okay, can I have a second? Oh, a question. Do you want the in terms of number of measures, do you want that to be the same, or do you want me to cut it shorter?
Pretend you're in Pro Tools and that you just deleted these two lines so that whatever chord you have here and melody you have here comes right after this line.
Okay. This is going to be very hard to just do without trying.
I know, but I know you can. I know you can do it.
Okay. If I could have one more day with what you used to be, take some time to breathe.
Please don't make me cry again.
Please don't make me cry again.
Do it again, do it again, do it again.
Okay. I'm not going to do it the same way because I don't remember how I did it.
Yeah, I know, but you'll do it great.
Okay. If I could have one more day with what you used to be, take some time to breathe. Please don't make me cry again, at least.
Fabulous. And I think that makes the bridge really move well. Again, your chorus is the boss of your song. Everybody else in the song bows down to your chorus. Chorus is the boss. Serve the chorus. So in a bridge that's this hefty, you're once again, because you're starting here with the same melody that you started with here, it feels like twins. It feels balanced. So that the 3-line sequence, which gives you, by the way, the unstable rhyme between be and breathe to close it off and drop us into the chorus, makes the whole thing feel like it's moving. And that in combination with the one verse here is going to, I think, make both your second and your third choruses really pop. So, give that a try. Play it down that way. See what happens. But this for me is an incredible victory for Baby. So nice work, Natan.
Thank you, Pat.
Thank you so much.
That was wonderful. Thank you, Natan. So up next we have, give me one moment, Molly Lear. Apologize if I'm mispronouncing your last name.
Got it.
Perfect. Hi, Molly.
Hi everyone. Hi, Pat.
Hi, Molly. How are you?
Good. Well, I'm not going to do any explaining. You ready?
Yeah, we are.
Okay. If I were a poet, I'd spend a month in the south of France, buy a colored scarf and tie my golden hair back, smoke cigarettes, dance barefoot on the travertine in a one-room B&B not a poet. I'm up late in the evening, begging words not to leave me till there's something on the page. Oh, but even when they stay, I worry it's the last thing I'll get to say. Thank you.
That's really quite wonderful.
Thank you.
I love the specific images. And you're very disciplined about creating what I call a first-person narrative point of view. This is all about me and my world. First-person narrative point of view, and the language itself, the specific smoke cigarettes, dance barefoot on the travertine. Is it travertine or travertine? Do you know?
Well, I said travertine, so I hope that's what it is.
All right, there you go. And sit in a leather chair, sun drop out my window. Oh my God, coffee turned whiskey. I dress up all the men I've been with in adjectives and rhyme. A ghost would be transforming. It's just so lovely. The language itself is so lovely. The second thing I really love about it is the way you're treating your downbeats. I do a whole bit on phrasing and what phrasing does emotion to your emotions. Phrasing, that is where your lines start relative to the downbeats of the bar. And I divide those into basically two camps. Number one, what I call front heavy phrasing, which is where your first accented syllable happens on the downbeat of the bar, and that feels really stable. It feels like you mean it. It can feel aggressive. As opposed to what I call back heavy phrasing, where the line or the phrase starts after the downbeat of the bar. So that's a little brisk for what you did. Still a little brisk. One, two, three, four. 1, 2, 3. If I were a poet, I'd spend a month in the south of France, buy a colored scarf to tie my golden hair back. 4, smoke cigarettes. 3, 4, dance barefoot on the travertine in a one-room air. So that's front heavy, and it completely destroys what you wrote. Could you play your first verse again?
If I were a poet,
that again, please? Give us a little longer intro.
If I were a poet, I'd spend a month in the south of France, buy a colored scarf to tie my golden hair back, smoke cigarettes, dance barefoot on the travertine in a one-room B&B with the words, they'd love me in return. The words.
Thank you. So the space there is so nice. And 1, 2, 3. If I were a poet, so that you're starting back heavy in the bar, and then I don't want to get put too fine a point on this, but poet happens on the downbeat of the weak bar, not the strong bar. Mm-hmm. And so the whole thing feels like, oh, if only. So I think that that really works for me. I mean, even if you were simply singing la la la, rather than if I were a poet, whatever you were singing, singing nonsense syllables, still the phrasing by itself would make us feel what you want us to feel. So I really like that about it. So I have a few notes on this. First, sort of a question. In your chorus, why are you saying with the words rather than simply with words?
No reason.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Can you try that
Sure.
from the top?
If I were a poet, I'd spend a month in the south of France, buy a colored scarf to tie my golden hair back, smoke cigarettes, dance barefoot on the travertine in a one-room B&B with words. Words. They'd love me in return. Words.
Okay, I like that, and you did that very well. Thanks.
Mm-hmm.
What that's going to do, I think, is make it easier to move later on in the song. Play this. Play this second verse.
Mm-hmm.
Hang on, let me pull it up again. Okay, go ahead.
If I were a poet, I'd sit in my leather chair, watch the sun drop out the window as the days turn cold, as coffee turned to whiskey and the words they
do that one more time? And this time I actually want you to sing La La La. And what I would like everybody to do while she's singing is to count on your fingers the number of melodic phrases that she sings.
La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. La la la. La 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 la.
Okay, I got 5. Everybody else? Yeah. So that you have your melodic roadmap says 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 phrases. That's your melodic roadmap. Your lyric roadmap, if I were a poet, I'd sit in my leather chair, watch the sun drop out my window. Oh, wait. If I were a poet, I'd sit in my leather chair, watch the sun drop out my window as the days turn cold. Oh, so that here, although your melodic roadmap is saying 2 ideas, your lyric is saying 1 idea. And so you have not a big, but at least a credible mismatch between your melodic rhythm and your lyric rhythm. So what I would like for you to do is create for the independent melodic phrase here an independent lyric phrase here.
Okay.
Like this.
Ah.
And I want you to stay in present tense.
Ah, yeah.
If I were a poet, I'd sit in my leather chair, watch the sun drop out my window, watch the days turn cold.
Now do it again and do it the other way.
What, the other way? Oh, add that one.
Yeah.
Okay.
If I were a poet, I'd sit in my leather chair, watch the sun drop out the window as the days turn cold.
You now do it the good way.
If I were a poet, I'd sit in my leather chair, watch the sun drop out the window, watch the days turn cold, and coffee turned to whiskey, and the words, they kept me warm. Oh, words.
Let me share this now. So here's I'm taking co-writing credit on this, by the way.
You got it.
Can you do this from all the way through to the chorus?
Sure.
So note that I've moved this. I've taken words out of your trigger line, so that they stay fresh. And here's where we get some benefits with the clarity of just simply with words rather than with the words. So just go ahead and do this.
Okay. If I were a poet, I'd sit in my leather chair.
Stop. Please don't put I on it. I put the accent on sit. So if I were a poet, I'd sit in. No, if I were a poet, I'd sit. I'd sit there in my leather chair.
If I were a poet, I'd sit there in my leather chair, watch the sun drop out my window, watch the days turn cold, and coffee turn to whiskey, and keep myself warm with words.
Okay, I want one more change. Because try it again.
If I were a poet, I'd sit there in my leather chair, watch the sun drop out my window, watch the days turn cold, let coffee turn to whiskey, and keep myself warm with words.
I like that better. And again, now we have a match between the melodic roadmap and the lyric roadmap. And I did the same thing here. Would you just sing this way?
If I were a poet, I wouldn't keep no secrets. I'd dress up the men I've been with, dress them up in adjectives like that, and rhyme. They'd tell a better story. The ghost would be transforming into words.
You'll note that in my rewrite here, there's no last thing here.
Yep.
The whole song says you're not a poet, so you don't need to tell me that. So the only other thing, back to Natan's song, where he had a weak form.
Yeah.
There's two weak forms I identify in writing better lyrics: verse, verse, chorus, verse, verse, chorus, and the other one is verse, chorus, verse, chorus, verse, chorus.
Yeah.
So I would suggest, and we may have time to pull this off, I would suggest that you simply do that. And so don't do the chorus the first time, just say with words, and then go right into if I were a poet. So that kind of gives us verse, verse, chorus, verse, chorus.
Got it.
So give that a shot from the top, and let's see what happens.
If I were a poet, I'd spend a month in the south of France, buy a colored scarf to tie my golden hair back, smoke cigarettes, dance barefoot on the travertine in a one-room B&B with words. If I were a poet, I'd sit there in my leather chair, watch the sun drop out my window, watch the days turn cold, let men I've been with, dress them in adjectives and rhyme. They tell a better story, oh, the ghost would be transforming into words, words into words, and they'd love me in words. They'd love me in return. Oh,
I dumped one of the words there. So now it's if I'm not a poet, but if I were a poet, the words would treat me better than the men I've been with, and that becomes the why of the song for me. I think it's really quite wonderful. The one thing I want you to know, Molly, is that when I look at you, my blue eyes sparkle with delight. That's not something I would say about myself, is it?
no.
My blue eyes sparkle with delight. That's something somebody else could say about me. So that when you did tie my golden hair back, and now looking at you with all your golden hair, I would just tie my hair back rather than my golden hair. What I thought when you said golden hair was, if I were a poet, oh, then I would have golden hair.
Yeah.
And so I took it to be a little bit on the, I don't know, fanciful side or something. But you're using the word I, and as you'll see in my tome on point of view, once a singer uses the word I, the audience automatically identifies the singer and the narrator as the same person. If you were, by the way, in third person narrative, he, she, it, then how your qualities as a singer make no difference.
Yeah.
So out of the 4 points of view, 2 of them, first person narrative, which this is, and direct address, both use I, and in those 2 points of view, the qualities of the singer are in play. Age, sex, level of fame, whatever it is, the way they're dressed, whether they smirk or smile, all of that is in play when you say I. But when you say he, she, it, they, or you, he, she, it, they, in the other 2 points of view, anybody can sing those, regardless of age, gender, or whatever. This seems to me to be something that you might take a look at, get a string quartet to play on it, and I think it's really a lovely song. Great language.
Thank you.
I just think this last verse is so strong, and so I guess it's suggestive. It suggests the reason for writing the song, and so that your last section, which steps into a meta place about I'm not a poet and I have to struggle writing songs, that takes away this whole thing about I've lost love so many times. I just, poetry would treat me better. Poetry would love me in return.
That's right.
as opposed to these jerks.
That's right.
That becomes a much, I think a much, much more attractive song.
Cool.
Lovely.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
So Yeah, Christina, do you want to take a shot?
I'd love to. I'd love to. Sorry.
Yes.
Muted. All right, here we go. One night last week, I dreamt about you, the sunlight, a crown in your hair. I tried to keep that dream from dimming. Oh, I still do miss you, Pierre. Your room was small, filled up with poems, unpublished, and things that weighed you down. But when we made love, we were surrounded by spirits and old books and dust motes in the air. Oh, I still do miss you, Pierre. I saw you then, tattered blue denim, you're so thin like you were not there. Poets are sad, they feel the rawness, for all us, I miss you, Pierre. We walked along sidewalks of mirrors, from oil slicks and rainstorms here and there. You tucked inside a darkened stairwell, an inkwell so private, so quiet, barely there. Oh, I still do miss you, Pierre. Pierre. Two songs about poets back to back on piano.
Wonderful. I have a couple of notes. This language is so wonderful. I was when I listened to this, it was in my head for several hours afterwards, and I had to pour lye into my ear in order to get it out.
My apologies.
I didn't want it to go, but I had other things to do. A couple of things. I said something in Molly's song about phrasing. I want to point out that your lines are all starting on the downbeat of the bar in a song which is about loss and regret. So singing, da, 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 da. One night last week, I dreamt about you, the sunlight, a crown in your hair, 2, 3, 4. I tried to sleep, that dream from, keep that dream from dimming. Oh, I still do miss you, Pierre. Your room was small, filled up, etc., etc. So a couple of things about that. First of all, in terms of just the setting itself, you're landing more on unaccented stuff like I and that, on words that really do not deserve the huge spotlight that the downbeat of a bar gives you. And so just as the first thing, 2, 3, one night last week, I dreamt about you. Not I, but I dreamt about you. So put dreamt on the stronger beat. And I tried to keep that dream. Your room was small. But when we made love, we were surrounded. I saw you then, etc. So you can make sure that when you use your downbeat, that what you put on the downbeat deserves the spotlight. Generally speaking, nouns, verbs, adjectives, and adverbs, but not personal pronouns, and certainly not conjunctions or prepositions and so on. But it might be really nice. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. One night last week, I dreamt about you, the sunlight, a crown in your hair. 2, 3, 4, 1. I tried to keep the dream from dimming. Oh, I miss you, Pierre. So instead of filling all of those syllables, I still do miss you. Oh, I miss you, Pierre. Or, oh, I still miss you, Pierre. So that if you get off of that downbeat, if we were in class personally right now, I would be saying that, of course, singer-songwriters are all born with a problem. They're born with a invisible cable from their chin down to their hands, and that when their hands go down, the mouth must open. And so my job is to cut the cable. And so you need to cut that cable yourself. I can't do it for you. So that these should be back heavy, especially, oh, I miss you, Pierre, or, oh, I still miss you, Pierre. Give me some space there. 1, I saw you then, tattered blue denim, so thin like you're not there. 3, 4, boom. Poets are sad. They feel the rawness of us all, of all of us. Boom, 3, 4, 1, I miss you, Pierre. So the phrasing is going to be a huge thing. If we had more time, I would actually make you do it, but you're smart, you can figure it out. If you have trouble with it, have you done my Coursera course?
I haven't done the Coursera course, but I've read your book on better writing lyrics.
Okay, do the Coursera course, or sign up for it. And in the it's a 6-week course, and in the 6th week, I've got 4 videos on phrasing. I don't really write about phrasing very much, but I've got a lot of stuff on phrasing. So in the Coursera course, in the last week, there's a whole bunch of stuff on phrasing that is going to change the way you look at things. My last thing here is I do want you to play this, and I want you to bring it up to the present, and I want it all to be about you in this last verse.
Okay. I saw you then, tattered blue denim, you're so thin like you were not there. Poets are sad, they feel the rawness for all us. I miss you, Pierre. I walk along sidewalks of mirrors, from oil slicks and rainstorms here and there. You tuck in.
Wait, stop. What's going on here?
Trying to make it in present time.
Oh, there we go. Okay, try that again.
Oh, I tuck inside. Oh, nice. Okay, cool. From I Walk Along?
Yeah.
I walk along sidewalks of mirrors, from oil slicks and rainstorms here and there. I I took inside a darkened stairwell, an inkwell so private, so quiet, unaware. Oh, I still do miss you, Pierre. Pierre.
Nice. So we're going from past tense memory, to present tense. Here's now I'm currently missing you. So that the first person present tense here, I think, really makes the last box the biggest box. So
That's fantastic.
Really lovely writing. See what happens on guitar, but play with the phrasing.
Right. Exquisite. Thank you so much.
Sure. Any final comments, observations, insults?
What a joy this is after a year of so much isolation.
Yeah. Well, Callan, there's a huge brain trust here, and a good chunk of folks. Is there a way that they can make contact with each other?
Yeah, so I do have everybody's emails from registering. What I will do is I can email out the lyric sheet as well as some of the things that you shared, Pat, in the chat. We got a few questions about those. And I'll see if I can put together a Google form if folks want to connect with one another. So that way I won't share everybody's email addresses with everyone, but I can see if I can coordinate something like that. So that way if folks want to stay in touch, they can do that.
Yeah, and you know, on the Google Doc, you can say, hey, I write such and such. Here's a couple of links to my things. I'm looking for co-writes. Anybody who wants to co-write or form a song swap group. There are bunches of song swap groups, and one came out of the last time we did this in the fall. Put together a group of 5 or 6 people, and you meet every couple of weeks, and everybody brings a song, and you spend some time talking about songs. So that's great. Well, I'd like to thank everybody for coming. I hope this has been useful for you, and I hope to see you around the block. So, cheers.
Thank you, just to echo what Pat said, for joining us tonight. All of the songwriters who submitted and everybody who performed live are much braver than I would ever be for anything like this. So thank you so much. And a huge thank you and round of applause to Pat for running this. Obviously would not be able to do any of this without you. So thank you so much. Before everybody jumps off, just a reminder that we do have more events going on. We actually have another one going on this week on Thursday about purchasing your first home for first-time home buyers. If that's of interest to anybody, feel free to shoot me an email and I'd be happy to send you that link. And then like Pat said, I'll be in touch with everybody later on this week with all of the documents and recordings and stuff like that to share out. But thank you so much, and I hope everybody has a wonderful rest of the week.